Karl Truman time. It's Tuesday. We are taking phone calls right now. So get your phone out, 276-2118. Again, 276-2118. Phone calls for Karl.
Karl, I'm sorry you weren't here about 5 minutes ago. You could have enjoyed some delicious food with us.
It looked like you guys were really enjoying it.
Oh, we were having a ball. And
Delicious.
you know, you can enjoy life too if you are not worried about legal issues. And that's why Karl is here to talk to us a little bit. And you have a number of areas of practice that you cover, Karl, and just run through those briefly so folks know when they're calling in what they can ask about at 276-2118.
Well, we focus, in my law firm, we focused on all types of injury claims. And, you know, for example, I don't do wills or divorces because, you know, in my opinion, the legal areas are so complex these days.
Yes.
To try to do everything, it's really tough to keep up with all of that.
Sure.
So even though, like, I'll sometimes have someone, or whether it's a client or prospective client, and call and they say, well, I need a will written, you know. So even though I don't do probate work, I'll send them in the right direction because I know who to, you know, direct people to try to get the help that they need.
Absolutely.
So I do try to provide be a resource for people, even if it's not something that I handle. But from the injury claims could be automobile accidents. Of course, that's the majority of our cases are automobile accidents, premises liability, falling on property, getting hurt on the job, even maritime claims, getting hurt, barge workers that get hurt on the river, Social Security disability. You know, just a variety of claims that involves, you know, where someone has been negligent and caused another person to become injured.
All right, Cheryl in Louisville's on the phone and she has a question. Cheryl, what do you have to ask Karl?
Yes, I have a question regarding workman's compensation. Do you deal with that at all?
Oh yes, be glad to try to see if I can help.
The opposing, I've been on workman's compensation for about 5 years now, and they're wanting to discontinue my medical treatment, and they filed a medical fee dispute, and I don't know how to handle that because my attorneys say my claim is closed.
Well, so did you already settle your case, or what?
I've been awarded, yes. I've been awarded monetarily and medical treatment for life, but they're saying that I don't need the medical treatment. It's not related to my work injury.
Wow.
Well, the attorney that originally handled your claim should be the one to help you out with that. Yes, they are. I mean, obviously I've not read your agreement, but as a general rule, they are responsible for continuing medical care.
Okay, they say they don't handle medical fee disputes.
Well, I think that's, in my opinion, they don't have an obligation to handle that, but since they are the ones that handled your claim, we do that. If we represent someone and then that issue comes up, then we take care of that for our clients. The problem that you run into to try to get a different lawyer to do that is that it's really no way, because let's say if you were to hire us or any attorney to handle just a medical fee dispute, there's really no way for the attorney to get paid for that. So there's really no incentive for an attorney to do that. But we do that for our clients, you know, because we just feel an obligation to continuing to, you know, take care of our clients.
Exactly.
But what happens?
Do you have any advice where I could go to, or someone I could call, or maybe legal aid or someone?
Well, a couple things. Of course, first of all, we'll need to get a statement from your doctor saying that, yes, this treatment is from your injury, because sometimes what the insurance companies will look at, they'll look at to see, well, did you fall at home, or were you in a car accident? Was there something else they can try to pin this treatment on other than your original injury? So they always look for that. I would try calling the Ombudsman office in Frankfurt.
I've called them several times. I don't return my call for some reason. I've called them at least 15 times.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's really
situation.
disappointing.
Yes, it is.
Maybe now that you've notified the media, the Ombudsman in Frankfurt will return your phone calls. Ombudsman in Frankfurt, if you're listening, please return Cheryl's phone calls because she really needs your help.
Yeah, that's really discouraging because you know, you have to file get a report from your doctor saying that this treatment is from your original injury.
Yes.
And then submit it to the judge, and then the judge will have to decide if the treatment is related or not.
Okay. Well,
Cheryl, hang on offline, and our producer's going to get your name and telephone number so we can. Oh, you
she's
already hung
gone.
up. Cheryl,
well,
call
thank
back
you,
if
Cheryl.
you can.
And, we have Larry right now from Louisville. Larry, go ahead with your question or comment. Larry? Larry?
You there, Larry? Larry is not there, but he can call back too.
Call us back, Larry. We're
Yeah.
still taking phone calls, 276-2118. Carl, before Cheryl called, we were talking about your practice areas. Talk a little bit about what you practice in.
Well, one of the areas that we've been looking into investigating right now, which I'd like to talk about, are it's called the DePuy hip product.
Yes.
And this is an issue that is really causing a lot of problems for people. Even though it's pronounced DePuy, it's D-E-P-U-Y.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to figure out how to pronounce that. And this is a hip implant where the product itself, it was basically when you have the hip joint, the replacement with the ball and then the socket that goes in the hip.
Yes.
It was the way they designed this. It was metal on metal, and so it was really causing a lot of problems. Causing blood poisoning, metal shredding into the hip joint, and so what a lot of people are having to do is having to have a second hip surgery to replace this device. I mean, which is a horrible thing to have to go through. And there are several other hip implants. So, if anybody has either the DePuy or there's also what's called the Zimmer hip, that we're looking into these situations because these are really causing a lot of horrible conditions for people.
And Carl, with our aging population, I can only imagine the number of people who have had hip replacements using this faulty product.
And this is why our civil justice system is so important, is because this is how we hold companies responsible for what they do.
Exactly.
If you hear people in politicians and media talking about limiting lawsuits and how that's going to add to our economy. Well, it's only going to add to the economy of the insurance companies and companies that make bad decisions and hurting people. It's not going to help everybody else who has to go through this.
Would you stick around for just a couple of minutes after the break? We got some more questions for you.
Sure.
All right.
And
very
Larry,
good.
call us back, 276-2118. If you have questions for Carl, we'll call you back.
There's no earthquake, don't worry. And we have retained Karl Truman, the injury lawyer. Get the joke, Carl? For a second segment, because we have such interest in his legal services this morning, and we've had a couple of phone calls. Now, Larry, if you're out there listening, give us a call back.
Call back.
We couldn't get you. And Cheryl, FYI, we do have your contact information, and I'm going to go ahead and call Frankfurt and find out why the ombudsman's not returning your phone calls. So we'll just do that as a little community service for you here from WBKI.
That's right. But if you have a phone call for Carl, 276-2118, he is here for an extended segment right now.
Talk to us a little bit about the bad winter, the slips and falls, the accidents. How many winter weather cases have developed as a result of our terrible snow and ice situation?
Well, one of the difficulties about slipping on ice is that Kentucky has what's called an open and obvious rule. Like if there's ice out in the parking lot and you see it, and you're walking to your car and you see ice right in the middle of the parking lot and you walk on it and slip, then the court could just throw that case out, because of what the open and obvious rule, meaning that it's open and you see it. And you're not supposed to step on it.
It's the shame on you rule.
Yeah.
Oh, man, okay.
Holy smokes. So one of the emails that have come in, we've had such a bad winter, and I know we still may have more to come, Carl. My question is, what about these potholes?
Oh, that's terrible.
Man, there are a lot of potholes out there. I know you probably hear this question a lot, but they're causing me to have to swerve all over the road. My car is now out of alignment. Is this something I have to live with, or is there anybody that I can complain to? This is from Jeff in New Albany, and it's true, when you hit a pothole, it really does throw your car completely out of alignment. Same thing when you hit curbs.
That's true.
But which I do frequently as well.
Permanent. But
those
potholes
curbs
are a
just
big
jump into
problem.
your-
Gosh, they just get in my way
Out
all
front
the
of you.
time. It just stinks. Tell us a little bit about the pothole situation. Now, I know for a fact that I actually damaged my car hitting a pothole on Shelbyville Road a couple of years ago, and I complained to the state because I had to replace the wheel. And we had just seen a crew out repairing potholes on Shelbyville Road, and I guess they hadn't gotten to that point
I guess that
yet.
one wasn't on their major
It took me
list.
2 years to get the money back.
Oh my gosh.
But they
Well,
did pay it.
Well, years ago, I was actually served on the town council of a local community, and we paid pothole claims
Really?
like that
Yeah,
too.
okay.
But,
Absolutely.
you know, the key on that, obviously, it's not something that you could hire a lawyer on, because if it's several $100s worth of damage, you know, or even $1,000 worth of damage, by the time you would pay a lawyer to
Right.
try to make a claim for you,
Right.
it really wouldn't be cost effective for either you or the lawyer. So,
Exactly.
you know, I think the important thing on that is to, you know, call the mayor's office, you know, call them, you know, whether
Right.
it's Mayor Louisville or New Albany, where this person is, you know, just contact the mayor's office, and hopefully enough people complain. And also, you know, don't just wait until you already have damage. You know, if you see hot potholes, call the mayor's office and start start complaining before there's an actual problem or before someone gets hurt.
Now, if you're on the council, when you were on the council, do you kind of decide what gets filled first? Or do you have even a say in that?
Well, the street department, obviously, they have to prioritize. I mean,
Right.
they have limited resources, limited people, limited funding, so obviously they can't be everywhere at one time. So, but I think what they would do is look at, you know, where's the most complaints coming from, where's the high traffic areas, you know, to prioritize, you know,
Right.
what needs the attention first. And so, of course, the more people that are complaining, then those are probably going to go to the top of the list.
Right.
Okay,
So-
I'm getting a text message from someone who says, I have medical bill that insurance was supposed to cover. They wouldn't. Now I've been sent to collections. What can I do?
Well, first of all, you need to look at what your policy is. You know, was it elective procedure? Was it prescribed by the doctor? So what is the what is the procedure? And then typically there's an appeal process through the insurance claim, and you know, probably would need to make arrangements with the doctor's office to make some payments to keep them off your back until you can go through the appeal with the health insurance.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Keeping it all in good standing, though,
Yeah.
I think is important.
That's the key.
Well, yeah, and yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, most doctors' offices are willing to work with people up front, you know, to make arrangements when they know there's an insurance dispute, because they deal with that all the time.
Right.
But and then, you know, the collection agency, you know, to try to keep it off, you know, your credit report would be to again, make payment arrangements and explain to them, look, it's an appeal with the insurance company, and most of the time they should be willing to work with you.
Good.
Okay.
Thanks for doing double duty today, Carl.
Oh, you're welcome.
If you have questions, you can contact 1-800-ACCIDENT or go to trumanlaw.com for more from Karl Truman. Jackie Gulby's on the set.
Yes, and Carl, if you want to see him, he'll be here next Tuesday. We'll be right back with more Louisville Live this morning.